Now, you know the worst thing about doing these public speaking is the nerves. And I rang up the National Speakers Helpline and said, you know, I'm suffering with nerves. And they said what I should do is imagine everyone naked. And to be honest, it's not really helping. Now, which one's Heidi? Who's Heidi?
This one.
Heidi, I believe you've got lots of guinea pigs.
Yes.
Well,
I've got a
today,
few left at the minute, but yeah.
you're all going to be my guinea pigs today.
Oh.
So at the end of this, I'd like some feedback. Hopefully positive feedback, but I would like you to be honest as well. Now, I've done this only a couple of times before. I've done women's prisons, men's prisons, Alcoholic Anonymous, so I thought I'd try financial services today.
We're all
Similar
crooks.
things.
Same quality of
You could have
audience.
fitted in all of those.
Now, I've called it the recipe, and I was going to call it the recipe for success, but I thought that was a bit cliched, but I'll come back to that later. So basically, this is what I'm going to go through today. The agenda, about 40 minutes. I'm going to talk about my story, then I'm going to talk about some very powerful tools I've called my self-commandments. There's 10 altogether, but I'm going to talk about 5 of them because we don't have the time to go through all 10. But I do have all 10 on a CD, and if anyone wants to get a copy of that, it will be available at the end. It'll only be a couple of pounds, but I'll tell you about that as well. And then we'll talk about the recipe, we'll talk about motivation, and then at the end there will be a chance to ask me some questions, and hopefully I'll be able to give you some honest answers. So, first question is a question that I'm going to ask you. Has anyone heard of my story before?
I saw you on the One Show,
Right?
so I can remember vaguely about it.
Yeah.
Trying to think, you were on the One Show with that comedian was sat next to you.
Harry Hill, yeah.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
We've got his body double in today. Who are you looking at? Remember, this is being videoed. Corporate bullying.
I think it was a.
I didn't mention anybody's name.
No, I think it was a compliment.
You mean Dr. Harry?
right. There's a slight disclaimer, and the disclaimer is that I'm not telling anyone how they should live their life and what they should do with life. I'm just sharing with you the tools that I used to change my life, to turn my life around. And I do believe they work, and they are free. They cost nothing. So why not try them? So we'll see how it goes. Now, for those that don't know who I am, I've got a few pictures which I'll talk you through. It's actually a bit of video I'll talk you through of where I was just a few years ago. Basically, I was there, sat in my chair. Unable hardly to move, let alone do anything else. I'd struggled to make a cup of tea, to even get into the kitchen, to get through the door. Everything was tough. I spent a lot of my life sat there in front of the television. But I also worked. I would work full-time as a bingo caller, and it was very tough. I was getting disability living allowance just so I could get to work and get back from work. Had to get a taxi to work and home, and it was tough getting in the taxi. But I was good at my job. I was a good bingo caller, and all the customers liked me, and I was very popular, and I was good at it. Otherwise, I think I probably would have lost that job. But it was getting increasingly harder for me to do. And I met Dr. Chris Steele from ITV's this morning, and he came round and said he would try and help me with weight loss. And he got me on a set of scales, and the scales weren't capable of taking my weight. And it was 4 weeks into the slimming plan, and I think I'd already lost about 4 or 5 stone at that point, when I eventually got scales capable of fitting me. And that was my life, basically, when I wasn't working, sat there at home, watching television and eating. And I used to eat that kind of stuff nearly all the time. Around 17,000 calories a day, we thought, but I didn't count them, so I didn't really know. And